Hello, my name is Paul Spencer. This is Biology 250, Human Anatomy and Physiology with Lab. Today we are going over the structures of a sheep brain. This is my work area. I have the brain here. I have some gloves. We have the structures here, structure list. And so let's get started. Let's see here. Okay, the first structure listed here is of the exterior of the brain. It's the cerebrum. The cerebrum is the top here. It's in between the skull and the brain itself. The next one is the sulcus. The sulcus is all the lines in between the gyrus. The gyrus is all the ridges all over the brain here. The next one is longitudinal cerebral fissure. That's going to be right here, right down the center, which separates the two hemispheres of the brain. The brain stem here. The midbrain is roughly here. It's going to be right above the pons. The next was the cerebral pedicle. That's going to be lateral to the sides of the midbrain. So both sides of the midbrain is going to be the cerebral peduncle. The superior colliculus, that's going to be roughly here, and it's going to be right behind the cerebral peduncle. And then the inferior colliculus is below the superior colliculus. So it's going to be here. The pons, as I said earlier, is going to be below the midbrain. And then the medulla oblongata is going to be below the pons. Cerebellum. The next is the cerebellum. The cerebellum is this whole area here. The vermis. The vermis is going to be right in the center that splits the cerebellum into two hemispheres. The lateral hemispheres are going to be on either side of the vermis. The meninges consists of dura mater, arachnoid, and pia mater. Dura mater is going to be the outermost layer, closest to the skull. The arachnoid is going to be below that, and the pia mater is going to be the closest layer to the brain itself. The pituitary gland is going to be, let's see, roughly here. So the cranial nerves is next. The cranial nerves, we have the olfactory here, the olfactory nerves. The bulbs are going to be the tips of these nerves here. The next is the optic. So the optic nerves will be roughly out here that branch off of the optic tract here. The optic chiasm is in the center here. The oculomotor is going to be roughly below slightly of the optic tract here. So it's going to be probably a little bit underneath there. The trochlear is going to be roughly right there. It's going to be just below the ocular motor, roughly. The trigeminal is going to be right on the other side. So you have the let's see, the trochlear on one side, essentially, and the trigeminal on the other. The abducens, if visible, that one's going to be, let's see, I think that one is roughly below those. Right inside, it's going to be right, let's see, the middle here. It's going to be like roughly right here, coming off of the stem slightly here. Let's see, mid-sagittal section, the corpus callosum is going to be in the center here. It's a little kind of half circle, half moon. The thalamus is going to be, let's see, about down here. The hypothalamus is going to be just below the thalamus. The lateral ventricle is going to be a bridge or half circle, same as the corpus callosum, except it's substantially bigger, and the corpus callosum is going to be essentially inside of that center of brain in there. The septum pellucidum is going to be slightly below the lateral ventricle, and a area like over here. Let's see, the choroid plexus, that's going to be about here, in front of the septum pellucidum. The next is the third ventricle. So the third ventricle is going to be about here, and then that is going to hook to the cerebral aqueduct, which is quite a ways down from it, which is a duct. And then from the cerebral aqueduct, just below it, we will have the fourth ventricle, roughly, let's see, the arbor vitae, that's going to be just behind the fourth ventricle, in between the cerebellum and the fourth ventricle. See, the spinal cord, the white matter is going to be the outermost layer. The gray matter is going to be internal. The dorsal is going to be the outside here, and the ventral root will be where it connects itself to the spinal cord. I think that's it. Thank you for watching.